guys, thanks for joining me here. My name's Amanda and this is Moonlight Messenger. Today's reading is for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. These messages are for the Taurus full moon coming to us on November 12th. Let's jump right on in for you guys. Alright, so your first card out is the Four of Wands. There's some stability here on the horizon with your family and people that you're sharing your life with. What covers that here and holds it back is the Six of Wands. So you're looking at a spiritual perspective shift. You're wanting to see things a little bit differently, and it's holding you back from seeing this new way of your spirit is holding back a certain stability that is there on the horizon for you. So once you've established this new perspective shift, and we'll talk a lot more about it here today, this new perspective shift is going to enable you to have a brand new balance in your spirit. Above you is the Hanged Man. You're feeling a little bit like you've been victimized in some way. There has been some sort of a sacrifice that you're starting to feel, and what comes up in the bottom of the reading is the Wheel of Fortune. So remembering that your perspective is key here. Your perspective will determine what comes out of this in the long run. What we're looking at here is an evolvement throughout the next month or so. We are still dealing with Mercury retrograde too in that same time frame. So this is going to instigate quite a bit of evolvement and maturity from you. You might be looking at things a little bit different in the future, but right now you're feeling a little bit more like a victim than anything. And that, I feel like you have the power to change that, first of all, but I feel like it's going to stop you from benefiting the most out of this retrograde season. In fact, Mercury retrograde is all about communications, not just with each other, but with ourselves. So the more thoroughly you can communicate with yourself about how you feel regarding these sacrifices, the more you'll be able to sort out this energy, and the sooner you'll be able to sort out this energy. In the past, you have a Seven of Wands. So there's been some sort of a spiritual confidence that you have already encountered in the past. You've renewed yourself in the way of spirituality, and that might feel like you've done a lot of work already, but the tricky thing, the funny and not so funny thing about spirit work is you're never done. There's more spirit work to do. You're not ascended until you're dead. And even then you're still ascending. There's never going to be a point where you're like just totally done growing. It's just not how things work. It's kind of the beauty of a soul journey is that it's never truly done. So in the future, you've got the Queen of Swords. You're looking at patience and identification of that natural intuition and knowingness and intelligence that's in you. And you do have, as an air sign, this really good, intense awareness. It's almost like a claircognizance of being able to understand and just know the truth and just know what's there and have this willingness to wait for it even. And you'll have this ability in the future to get comfortable waiting for what it is that you truly know and what you want. Patience comes with time. It's probably the worst and hardest lesson that we deal with in this lifetime is patience. I personally hate it when my readings come up with patience, because it's just figures that we would have to exercise patience for some of these things. But soul growth and evolvement does require a lot of patience. It requires a lot of intuition too. So following that patience and that intuition is a really good rate to be going at right now. In the current moment, you have the Lovers card. So you might be doing a lot of this for the sake of the lovers, like for the sake of the family. You're putting up a lot for the sake of people you care about, and that might be why you're feeling like a little bit like the victim, because this isn't only about you. You're doing it for someone else too. It's not just for you. But as soon as you're able to establish this new perspective, that's where the stability comes in. You won't feel like you're being taken advantage of by your lover. I don't even feel like your lover has a clue that you feel taken advantage of. there's a miscommunication here. This is Mercury retrograde speaking loudly. It's like, communicate how you feel with first yourself and then talk to the person that you're dealing with about this. But it might turn out that you were seeing it wrong, and you are powerful. You do have a lot of power here. You're accomplishing a lot. You're aware and you're building this evolvement. It's important that you continue on this work and don't stop it just because you feel like somebody is benefiting from you. That's silly. Of course your loved ones are benefiting from your growth. That's not bad. That's a good thing. In the moment tact, you have the star card. This also represents Aquarius. You could be dealing with finding the correct direction. You could be having an issue identifying the right direction, but don't seek it out in other people. Seek it out in yourself, okay? That direction will hit you. That's what the patience is for. So when you have the amount of patience that's required in order to find the next step in the direction, you'll be happy just being able to solidify that type of an environment for yourself. To know at least 1 or 2 steps, but right now you might not even have a clue of the first step. So that's why this might feel like it's frustrating, and it might be all for everybody else and not for you, because you don't have the vision in you yet that you want to bring forward. You're just moving blindly still at this point, and that's very comfortable feeling. Until you get to that place where you can establish a better perspective, you will be feeling like you're blindly being held back and doing this. But you can look closely that the lovers are here in the 4 of stability card too. So the lovers are there. They're rejoicing together. They're both working really hard. The stability is being held back because you're looking at it in a way that's just backwards. The lovers do love each other. There is a lot of love here. It's very important to see that and to know that. It's just that both of you have a very little grasp of which way you're going, and so it feels like you're both kind of like not paying attention to each other. I bet you that this communication issue will slowly fade away into the distance, and if you don't act on it right now, you might forget that you even were feeling this way, because it's just from Mercury retrograde happening to make you feel like you're working really hard and benefiting other people, and those people aren't benefiting you, and that's because you don't see what they're doing. You have no idea how hard they might be working on the other side for their own evolvement, so that you two can come together and be whole together. Everybody's doing their own part here. In the hopes and fears, you have the strength card. This is about finding balance and peace within the storm. This is about being able to grab a lion by the teeth and give it a hug, basically. This is just power. It's power. It's mental power, and it's physical and spiritual power. And that infinity sign above her head is a really good example of that power. It's never ending. It just continues, and it flows from one end to the out, and that is how spiritual, mental, mind-body connection works. That's how it works. It fuels itself so that it never actually runs out of fuel. In your prediction card, you have the Knight of Cups. So swiftly moving in with love, addressing all of these concerns with a urgent matter of love, and connecting urgently with your emotions, because your emotions can be clouded during this time of communication if you're not communicating with yourself on that internal dialogue level. It's not something you want to talk to somebody else about before you talk to yourself about. I'll just tell you that much. Because you could slip up and say something that you really didn't mean that, and you might hurt somebody's feelings by just speaking and not even thinking first. That happens a lot during Mercury retrograde, actually. There's been a lot of changes going on for you. I feel like there's a lot of stability that still needs to come into play as far as the lovers. The lovers, I feel like they're doing their own 2 separate things at once, and that's why it feels like there's some divide, but there's not. These lovers are working harder than ever. They're focusing here on the forefront to find their own stability and their own new perspective in that spirit, and that's where 2 wholes become a really good combination. So you're not getting 2 halves of people anymore. This is hard work. work. This isn't just for the faint of heart. It's certainly activating your own intentions, your own intuition, and your own power, and your own strength. Don't let it make you feel like you're doing all of the work, because that's where you'll start manifesting negativity, and you'll start identifying with that sacrifice that you're making constantly. You'll start to manifest bad things coming towards you if you're giving to yourself and your spirit without a good feeling. If you don't have a good feeling giving to yourself or letting others give to themselves, then you should just not give at all, because that is going to just mirror back to you disdain. I'm not joking, it really will. If you don't feel comfortable or happy giving something, it's just not a good time to do it then, because your perspective is just not strong enough for that. So gather that confidence that is required. It's your own spiritual confidence that is required from the past, that you can tap into that to gain this mastery of that patience and that knowingness, and just keep your head on straight. You're not the only one doing the hard work here, and that is important for you to identify, so that you're not hurting people around you that are actually trying. They're really just trying to mind their own business and be, whether you like it or not or know it or not, people are trying to be easier on you by doing their own thing, by trying to identify their own communication so that you don't have to. And that's where this love delivery comes in, is you'll count on those people that are doing that hard work to identify themselves. You'll count on them to be able to know how they feel just as much as you're expected to know how you feel. So everybody will have this energy on the same page, where regardless of how far or near you are to the lovers, to your loved ones, your Knight of Cups energy in the prediction card will guarantee that these people are responsible for their own feelings, and that you too are responsible for your own feelings, and communicating those feelings in a whole way. So in a real way, not just in a dramatic way or expressive, overly combustive way, because we just need to take a chill pill during Mercury retrograde. People really don't communicate properly on a regular basis anyways, and that's what Mercury wants to teach us, is how to re-gauge ourselves in a way that is healthier and more refined. Okay, you guys, so if this message resonates with you, please be sure to hit that like button before you go. And if you'd like more, please hit the subscribe button too. So I am opening up my schedule for readings. You can check that in the description box below for more information. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.